you don't have to be present during the auction time. The system will buy on. Of course, you still can be available live as well. And if you're live and you would see the price would go above 320 and you would still want to buy it, then you can press your buying button, which is the space bar, but I'll come to that later, and then actually on this lot. Now, let's go to the actual auctioning. So you click on auction here, and then select the one clock that is there, of course. And then you get this layout. Now you see the lot I marked is in blue. I made a pre-bid on is in green. So these are the upcoming lots. You have the current lot here. Now you'll probably recognize all this information, but in doubt, you click this question mark and you will see the field names. So this is the lot, number of bags, the marks, certificates, weights, and grades. So that way, as a reminder, you can click here and it will tell you, but you'll get used to that really, really soon. The supply matrix that I just showed you is also showing here. And it's not only showing here, but it's also doing live updates. So if Karen would sell the C mark here, she would sell 6 tons of it, this would only show 30 tons. So it's coming down. That way you can keep track of, it will tell you if you need to maybe bid higher if you really want, it's getting out of stock. The transactions that you've made will show up here. So every time you win a bid, that will show up here in this list. This one here, price overview, is actually a statistical overview. So that's for the grade on sale. It will tell you the last transaction, the last price paid, the average price paid, the top price so far for this marketing agent today, and the trend. So you can see if the price is going up or down. It will be much more clear with an example, which we are going to do. So here within the clock, you see the price, you see the lot number, and you see the total weight. And this will show the winning buyer. Now, Karen, if you can start, then we see it running. Karen, can you hear me?
Yes, we are hearing.
Okay, start the clock so I can bid.
That shortly.
Sorry? Yes, okay. So this is how you see the clock running. So that is in the current system as well. I press my space bar, and of course I'm the only bidder. And when I'm the winner, this face is green. So that's a bit like your current LED in the buyer desk. So this one will show green, and now I know I am the winner. And I can also talk to the auctioneer now to tell him if I need to tell him anything. I can also listen to the auctioneer, of course. And if you can confirm this bid now, Karen. You see now this comes up in my transaction here saying I bought lot 1201 at 80.
Maybe just to let the members know that Karen is acting as an auctioneer for now for the training purposes. Yes,
exactly.
Yes. Yeah, okay, thanks.
Yeah. So this way the auctioneer can sell lot per lot as you do now, and that's how you can buy on the auction. So it's well, of course it's different because now you will be able to do it from your office or your home, but the concept that different from what you're used to today. That's in a nutshell the buyer side regarding the clock. Now what you'll also have, of course, is the reports. Karen, can you click confirm clear buffer, please? So I have a transaction. In the reports, I will be able to have a marketing total. Okay, now I only made one transaction, of course, so the marketing total is phenomenal today. But that's the report you will be able to get. what you can also do is say, okay, but yesterday the auction was actually yesterday. I was not able to get my reports. I had to go. So today you can ask for the reports of yesterday as well. And then, well, we had a test run, of course, yesterday as well. So there is actually data for yesterday. This will show me the data of the date I choose. And you can also even go over a certain period where you can say, I want the marketing total for May. So from the 1st till the 31st of May, and that should show the marketing total of May then. Other reports I have is your pro forma, of course. You can look at your pro forma from home. And by not choosing a catalog, which is a marketing agent, it will show you purchases of all marketing agents, but you can also choose a specific one. So if you say, I only want my purchases from Tropical Farm, choose this one and run. Of course, now this will give the same result because I only bought with one marketing agent. Again, here you can go back in time saying yes or a specific date. The sales summary per grade, this will give you a list per grade group. So you got your main coffee grades, you got your miscellaneous grades, and you got your unwashed grades. I only sold one grade now, or we only sold one grade, so it's only here. But this would show you another group for the miscellaneous and another group for the unwashed if they're there, with the cut down in percentages. Another report is, of course, what you could see in the supply monitor. You can also see here, which will give you a report per marketing agent. So if I go to the next pages, say here, page 4 or 5, this one will show me the next marketing agent. So again, here either you choose all catalogs, all marketing agents, or you ask for a specific one. Now I only have the specific one for one, which is all. Now you can either print this report, or you can say, I want it as a PDF, or even as a Word document. You can export it, but also printing. Or you can just look at it on the screen as you see fit. So in a nutshell, that is it. These are the main functions that you will have as a buyer. Over to you, Daniel. I'm open for questions, of course.
There are already some questions on the screen. You can maybe, or you can just answer them. You can on the chat, please, if you can.
Hold on.
Yeah.
Where is the chat here? It would be good if it would actually show me the chat. Here. Go down and back up, or only down until someone bids. No, well, it can do that, of course. It can go only down, that's a setting. But for the Nairobi Coffee Exchange, it will be configured that it goes down and up again. Also, like you are used to now. But it can be, technically, of course, it can be just a down. I can't see everything. Sorry, I can't help that. And mute everybody else. So these are the questions so far.
I have a question.
Yes.
Yeah, this is Jeff. Now, does a bid have a specific time on the screen?
Does a bid have what?
Have a specific time on the screen, like it runs for like a few seconds and then it goes to the next one if nobody bids.
Well, the clock is running, like in the current system. So the price goes down until somebody bids. And then if somebody bids, you see these 3 LEDs going, like in your current. And then if more people are interested and start bidding, the price goes up until only 1 is left. Then you got these waiting dots again. And if somebody would join, it can rise again, or it can be assigned to the winning buyer. The concept is the same as in your current system. Now, as to the question here, does the pre-bid function start bidding on the way down or bidding on the way up? That's a good question. If the bidding price lower than the auctioneer's starting price, then the price will go down. A real buyer bids, or until we hit the bottom price, of course, and then the system will start bidding on your behalf. So let's say you put a price at 200. The marketing agent is starting at 220. It goes down. It will not stop at 200, or it will. Hold on. No, it shouldn't stop at 200. It goes down until somebody bids, and then it will compete against that somebody up until 200 if needed. If that other person releases at 180 for oh, okay, now I'm unmuted. I was muted. I don't know how much you understood of my explanation, because in the meantime I saw I was muted.
There's another question there.
That happens if the auctioneer starts below the pre-bid price. Yes, if he starts above the pre-bid, then the price will stop at your pre-bid. So then your pre-bid would be the first bidder. On the pre-bid, if it goes down until someone bids, what if there is no bid? Well, there is always a bid at the bottom price. Then the system will get the bidding. And then, of course, at that time, you will compete against the system's bottom price. And if nobody else bids, you get it at bottom price. So the system will actually bid on your behalf, as if you would be doing it yourself. We try to mimic that as close as possible. Yes, you can. In the report, as soon as in the clock, there is a buffer of 5 transactions. So the auctioneer, the marketing agent, can still intercept in these last 5 transactions. As soon as they leave that buffer, because there's a 6th one made, the transaction becomes final and is available in reporting. So up from that point on, you can actually export it or look at it on your screen really easily. I can show you that. So in the reporting, you could take your buyer performance. We could have extra one here, which is just the raw transaction data. That we could do as well. So you can actually process it in Excel. But what you can do here already, you see, you can go to Excel as well. I'll take this one. If I open that one, it looks like this. So you get your Excel file immediately. But that is as soon as the transaction is final, which is after 5 transactions normally. Is that an answer to your question? Okay. Well, there is a buffer of 5 transactions for the auctioneers to intervene. That's like in the current system. But there is not much he can intervene. He can cancel a transaction in case there was a mistake made, but that's all. Yes, you will indeed bid lot per lot, like in as in. Oh, yeah, thank you, Danny. I think I didn't miss any. Let me go up. The signing in bit. Well, you get your login information from the auction, and then you just enter your username and password. Username will be your email address in the system. At first login, you will also be shown terms and conditions, which you should read, but which is the same as for the current. And then you have to agree on that, and then you're in. The mobile app device is in the making, let's say. You will not be able to participate in the bids for the rising clock. For a pure down clock, that would be possible. For a rising clock, it's not foreseen yet, but you would be able to get your reports on the mobile device, for example, once that is released. Your private price, meaning your pre-bid price, I suppose, that you can do in the supply monitor, like I showed. So if on a certain lot you would want to set your own price, then you click on that lot and you say, okay, 325. I don't know how high it is or how bad, and you save, and then you got your price set. So you can all do that before the auction, and then the system will take your bid into account as if you were live there, but you can still be live there. You see now that I made this pre-bid, it's showing green in my clock. So I know as a buyer, on this one, I made a pre-bid. And this one is blue because this one I marked as a lot of interest for me. I didn't put a price on it. I just wanted the system to warn me when that lot is coming up for sale. Well, the system can handle a slow internet connection. There is a maximum delay allowed, which is now set at 500 milliseconds. If your connection would be slower than that, then you would be excluded from bidding. But that's if you would know that your internet is not that stable or reliable, then I would recommend using the pre-bids, so that even if you would lose connection, the system can still on your behalf. The system is certainly secured against hacking, of course. It's completely HTTP encrypted, so I wouldn't worry there. It's also running in Azure cloud, so also secured at that level. Yes, I would recommend having a few test auctions before going live. Can you only set pre-bids lot by lot, or can you paste multiple bids in? Well, an option here, I didn't explain that one yet, pre-bids on product, where you can actually, for a certain grade, do a pre-bid within this marketing agent. So, but I don't know if purely based on grades, it would be sufficient to make a pre-bid. That I still have to discuss, Daniel, how usable this would be. So, and in your case, they should always be 100%, not take a part of it. And you could say, well, this one is not relevant here. So now I actually made a pre-bid on a grade C, which means if grade C is being sold, the system will make a pre-bid on my behalf. But like I said, purely on grade, I don't know if that is usable. I can't estimate that. That is something I have to still discuss with Daniel. You should be able to pre-bid only on behalf of your company. Yes, of course, because you're doing the pre-bids as a buyer, you're doing it on behalf of your company. You cannot put pre-bids in for somebody else. No, you cannot upload a pre-bid file. You have to do it online. Any other questions? Feel free to ask. Then I'd say over to Daniel again.
There are some few questions more.
Yes, an auctioneer can cancel a transaction like on the floor. That is why there is this buffer of 5 transactions. But he cannot go that buffer.
Yeah. a dealer will be given up to about 5 lots after the last one, where we can be able to make an adjustment.
Well, how many buyers per company? You can ask login accounts at the auction, as many as you need, I think. That's up to the auction to decide how many it will distribute. But you can have multiple employees per buyer company as users, and they can bid or be logged in at the same time. If they would be bidding on the same lots, they would not compete against each other. So the system them as just a buyer. Please do a summary of what. No, the pre-bids will probably be from the morning. Something we still have to discuss. As soon as the catalog is available. Regarding the new regulations, that's a question for Daniel to answer, I think.
Yeah, Jack, we are waiting for the rolling out of the new regulations. The implementation is yet to be to take place. So we wait until that is rolled out, and then we can be able to apply that. So this system will still go as per what we have been using before. So it is we are not going to implement it through here.
Can we exit and return to the auction later in the day? Yes, you can. The whole point of pre-bid, so you can do pre-bids before the auction, and then go and have a coffee if you want or whatever, and come back, and the system will have bid for you if you would have the best price, of course, on that lot. Somebody bid at the auction. I don't know. That's something for Daniel to answer. If there will be laptops available in the auction as well during the lockdown, I don't know.
Please, if you have not muted, please mute. Please mute. There are some people we are hearing you discuss in the office or from your home. Now about whether you
mute.
whether we are going to come
mute is in the left lower corner.
Sorry.
You go down with the mouse, and then at the left you see the mute button.
Yeah, you're trying to avoid muting you. Now, yeah, what I was saying is we are trying to avoid the crowds, of course, during this corona moment. But again, maybe also getting your question, are you asking whether we are going to have both the online and also the physical one? Yes, later after corona, we will be interlinking the two systems, and those who want to come to the auction to do the pressing, they can be able to do it from here. So there will be an integration later, but that will be post corona.
Okay. Now the last question: if my pre-bid is lower than the set low bid, what happens? Is there a way to know? Well, I don't know what you mean with the set low bid, but of course your pre-bid information is private. So no other buyers can see your pre-bid price, or we do not show on the buyer if somebody else has a better pre-bid or not. That is private. Oops. Tom, ik zit in een demonstratie voor Kenia. So that is important to know, of course, that your pre-bid information is private. Okay, back to you, I think.
I don't know whether we have any more questions from the dealers. I think we may have to delay rolling out by next week, so that we can just be sure everything is working well. for those who are asking about whether we are going to have it next week. Our anticipation was that we will use it by by next week, but I think for now we may have to wait, so that at least we are sure everything is working the way it is supposed to be. Because again, for you as the dealers, you also need to do a bit of practice to be sure your things are working the way they should.
Yes, you can pull logins per company. You have to ask login accounts at the auction. Well, technically you can. It's up to Daniel to inform what how it will be done in practice. Yes, indeed. Well, the idea is the auction and Nairobi Coffee Exchange will give you initial passwords, and you can change that yourself by in admin part. So I'm logged in as this buyer. I can say change password, and then I can set myself a new password. Now, if I would 1, 2, 3, 4, for example, the system will tell me, no, you has to be at least 8 characters with 1 uppercase, 1 lowercase letter. So it has to be a secure password. And of course, that is stored in the cloud, encrypted, so nobody can read your passwords. No, that is the colors changing. You cannot do that in this version. It is on our wish list to be able to allow you to do that, but so far it's not in yet. So it's on the roadmap for the new versions, but so far you cannot choose the colors yourself. The pre-bid is effective as soon as the lot is the current lot on the clock. Then you cannot change your pre-bid anymore. Up until that time, you can change your pre-bid. And so when the lot you made the pre-bid on is on the clock, then all pre-bids for that lot are final, and the system will bid on behalf of these pre-bids during the auction. And of course, you are the winner if you have the best one. Well, a good question as well. As a buyer, you can assign from your company who is the buyer and the buyer administrator in the user list here sees all the user accounts linked to his company. Hold on. I can see as an administrator from Cariapa who is allowed to log in on my behalf, and I can change that. So I could say this one here no is no longer an administrator. He can only do purchasing. He can only view the auction but not bid. So that is also possible. Or he can only look at the reports. So you could have a secretary, a login for a secretary who can actually only get the reports. She cannot do the active bidding, but she can do the reports. Or you could have some colleague who can view at the auction, but he is not able to bid. And then the one who can purchase with purchase rights, he can just do the bidding. And the administrator, of course, what he can do more is have this user management and all the rest. Yeah, you bid with the spacebar, but here in the settings, you can choose what is your buying key. So now, of have one clock in the Nairobi Coffee Exchange. The system can have multiple clocks, as you see. The key to buy, I set to space here. But I can now just press the T button, for example. So now I'm bidding with the T. So you click on this one, then you hit the key you want to use. I prefer space, and then that is set to space. So you can choose your own buying key. What you can also do is create a second price. let's say I want to add a second price, which is maybe, I don't know, you want it in euros. So I set it to euro. I can add an additional value that I want to see added to the price, a fixed, let's say 3 cents or so, or I can say add 10% to the price because that is my cost, for example, or I can say add X amount to the entire transaction. So this amount is per kilo, and this amount is per transaction. Now, if I would just say I want to see it in euro, then the next time I log on, I get to see it in euros. I think I have to log in again. Yeah, I will have to. So let's log out. Let's log in again. Oh no, it's not taking my euros. I have to check into that. So the idea is that you can see your price in euro then, and that price will be run with your clock. And here you can say that you can listen to the auctioneer, because the auctioneer can have audio. So when I want to listen to the auctioneer, I can click on this one, and now I can hear the auctioneer, or I can mute it. Back to the questions. The login details will be sent to you by the auction, of course. My previous example is at $79. Well, if the pre-bid is lower than that, then it's not taken into account. Just as if you are ready to do a live bid at 79 and the auctioneer stops at 80, nothing happens either. It's exactly the same. Well, the dummy sales, I'll leave up to Daniel to communicate that when there will be dummy sales.
Yeah, well, about running a dummy sale, we will try to work out every small detail with the developer, that's Doug, and then we will advise all of you when we can be able to do that. But it is for sure we can do that by next week. I mean, we cannot run this the sale next week by this system.
If a buyer talks to the auctioneer, the communication from the buyer to the auctioneer is private, but the communication from the auctioneer to the buyers is to everybody for transparency reasons, of course. So every auctioneer says is heard by all buyers. Everything the buyer says to the auctioneer is only for the auctioneer. The other says, no, it's not really a formula. Well, the system creates a formula out of these fields that you can enter. So you can enter a currency translation. So from dollars to euro, for example, you can set a fixed amount per sales unit, which is in kilos. You can set a percentage on the price, and you can set a fixed amount per transaction. And together, of course, that forms a sort of formula. But it's not like you can formula yourself. Others came late. Please do a quick recap. Oh, that's a bit hard to repeat everything again. I don't know, Daniel, did you read this session?
Yes, I'm recording, so I think I can share that.
So
yeah.
then the people who came in late can look at the recording.
Okay.
There is a user manual, yes, but we're still working on that. So it's a good idea. I'll check that up if we can provide something. Maybe together with the auction, we can make a tailor-made user manual for the settings. Them. That would maybe be a good idea, Daniel.
That's okay.
Okay. Okay.
Are we okay now? Okay, seems like we do not have any additional questions.
Okay, thank you all for your questions. Thank you.
Okay.
Glad you like it.
Yeah, well, Okay, thank you so much, members. In case there are any other additional ones, maybe we will see how we can go about them. Thank you so much, Doc.
Okay, you're welcome. Karibu.
Yes, unless there is anything more, then I want to close the session. Thank you for your patience. We hope by the time you are rolling it out, then it will be the best thing we can be able to make use of. Thank you.
Okay, thank you.